Why does America hate poor people? As of current, I know a lot of people who are struggling indefinitely with so many different things, whether it be rent, whether it be with food or groceries, whether it be with just simply finding a job. It is insane. It is nuts that America just has this smugness, this tough love for poverty. I think poverty in the public imagination, for some odd, undescribable reason, has stopped being a symptom of systematic failure and become a personal sin. If you are poor, it is your fault. People don't look at a man on the street and see someone failed by policy, circumstance, or luck, for what have you. They see someone lazy, entitled, defective in a sense. Did you know that it is illegal to be homeless? I didn't know that. It is illegal. It is illegal to be homeless. If you're homeless, you're obviously someone who didn't try hard enough. And the most ironic part is that this narrative of blame keeps the whole machine spinning, whether you want it to or not, because if poverty is a personal fault, then nobody else has to fix anything if it's your fault. It's comfortable cruelty. That's all it is. And people keep dressing it up in all these different terms, all just to say, well, you lack accountability for your own absence. And all their actions lead to the same result. Even if you tried hard enough, it's not going to work if you get destroyed by the system. And I hate these statements. I hate it so much because obviously there are people that obviously take it too far. There are people that exploit the system. There are people that rely on the system for everything. I understand that. I grasp it. There are people that use the system in notorious ways. But I hate the sentiment of pull yourself up by your bootstraps, they say. Not realizing that the phrase began as a sarcastic impossibility. That's how the phrase began. Something no one could actually do. And it seems to become this gospel for the comfortable. It's what people say when they don't want to feel responsibility for someone else's suffering. You'll hear someone say something psychotic, go to that business and buy that business, and that business will buy that business. And when everybody owns a business, you know what's going to happen next? Everybody's going to be run by cats and dogs. Cats and dogs are going to be, we're going to make them bipedal and make them run. And then when those cats and dogs find new things, we're going to make it run by AI. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's easier. It's so much easier to believe that every single homeless person chose this life than to admit that rent tripled. That's what happened. Rent tripled. Wages stagnated. Wages stagnated while the price of chips used to be you could buy 4 bags of chips for $1. Now you can buy 2 bags of chips maybe for $1.19. Maybe. The value of $1 has gone down dramatically so. It has been ridiculous. The American dream was foreclosed and then resold to the top, the billionaires. That's what happened. People will walk by a man holding a sign that says hungry and think, oh, well, hold up a second. If he can make a sign, he can make a resume. Obviously. Then why is he not working? Doesn't make any sense. That's not logic. That's stupid. The world's hatred of the poor is never louder than when it comes wrapped in a sermon. Oh, every time in a sermon. The very same people who clutch the Bible tight, so deeply, enough to choke on it, are the ones often yelling, if you're homeless, get a job. I'm sorry. You know how absurd that is if you are holding a Bible saying that? The man they claim to worship didn't just hang out with the poor and the brothel workers and the lawyers. The man they worship, Jesus Christ, was poor. He didn't say, blessed are the ambitious entrepreneurs. He said, blessed are the poor in spirit. That's what it means. Blessed are the poor in spirit. That's what it is. Those who are at the worst straits of life financially are blessed in spirit. That's what it is. Modern Christianity in America has mutated into a prosperity cult where this wealth equates to virtue, and suffering, whether it be your fault or the system's fault, means you are sinful in some way. That's what it is. And what's worse is that this contempt for the poor has become a form of social bonding. People mock homeless people not just to dismiss them, but to reassure themselves that they'll never become them. I want to tell you this right now. Most people are 2 missed paychecks away from getting evicted and becoming homeless. I remember, this is very important. I was taking my friend to go get a car.
And he said, okay, how do I get a car? I said, well, if you don't have any money to outright buy it, you'll need to get it financed. He said, okay, well, how do I finance? I said, I'll show you. We'll have to find a lender and we'll go to a financing place. We'll figure it out. So we got financed through Chase Bank. And he said, well, do you have a cosigner? And my friend said, no, my mother's dead and my dad is crazy. He said, you don't have a cousin or a friend? And I'm not going to co-sign with the guy. I don't have good credit. I said, no, I don't. He doesn't have anybody. He said, well, we can't finance you. He said, okay, how do I get a car? He said, well, you might have better, might have better luck on Facebook Marketplace. So I went to Facebook Marketplace and bought a car for $2,000. Now he has a car. That's what happened. Couldn't rely on the institutions because the institutions didn't want to help him. That's exactly what happened. He couldn't get financed, do any of that, couldn't do this plan, didn't have any credit, nothing. Couldn't do that. It's insane. And then it came down to, well, get a job. Every get a job statement. Every I'll work for what I have. Rent. It's just a spell against fear. That's what happens. It's a spell. They're scared of falling, scared of being forgotten. The cruelty in these statements is born from terror. Always terrorist, always scared. The middle class mocks the poor to feel safe from poverty, and the rich mock them because it distracts from exploitation. It's just this food chain of denial. They call poor people lazy because if it's easier. I've never met a lazier creature than a man born rich who thinks his inheritance is a resume. Never met a lazier creature. They call them entitled. But entitlement is believing the world owes you comfort because your parents had it first. They call poor people dependent. But dependence is when your wealth survives only through underpaid labor, tax loopholes, and inherited safety nets. The poor aren't lazy. They are literally tired of everything. One time, I was working 3 jobs just to pay for one life, mine. That's what I was doing, 3 jobs. I was homeless 3 times in my life. 3 separate times I was homeless. Horrifying situation, mind you, especially in the winter. Oh my goodness. You know how you can rely to go home when it's really cold outside? Imagine trying to find places that won't kick you out just for being poor. Shout out Tim Hortons, by the way. Thank you so much. And shout out every library that I stayed overnight at, that where they allowed me to stay in a place overnight in the police holding place. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I was burning myself alive to keep the lights on in places that I didn't own. And people just kept telling me, well, you just gotta work harder. It's this get a job mindset. It ignores that poverty doesn't just strip you of money, it strips you of time, health, and humanity. How do you apply for a job without an address, a phone, a shower? How do you get an interview when you're walking 20 miles a day with everything you own in a trash bag? And when someone does claw their way out, the world doesn't celebrate them. It resents them for surviving. That's what happens every time. We don't want poor people to escape poverty. We don't. We want them to stay there quietly so we can keep pretending the system works. There's something almost biblical in how we punish the poor for existing. We fine them for sleeping in public, arrest them for loitering, and then demand they find employment from a cell. Then give them a job in prison. We make hunger a crime, and this is our civilization. We build billion-dollar stadiums in cities where kids go to school hungry and pretend charity can fix what greed caused. The hatred isn't logical. It's just ritualistic. It's society's small comfort to themselves. We've sacrificed you for our comfort. Now stay grateful. They tell themselves that all the time. It's the loudest voices every time are always the ones who've never been close to hunger. You can always tell who's never had to choose between rent and food by how easily they talk about discipline. They think poverty is just a mood you can just shake off. That if you just wanted it bad enough, you'd manifest stability out of thin air. They don't realize that wanting doesn't matter when the dice are loaded. You can't bootstrap when your boots have already been pawned to live. And I don't want to just keep bringing up Christian America, but a lot of it is Christian America. They love to pretend compassion is conditional, quoting scripture. The most common thing that happened to me, this is very personal, mind you, was people quoting scripture at me until their throats go dry. Skip every verse about feeding the hungry, sheltering the homeless, and giving without expectations. They'll pray for the unborn while mocking the living. They'll kneel in church on Sunday and step over a veteran on Monday. By the way, happy Veterans Day. It's not hypocrisy. It's just this weird, disgusting, almost malformed performance that they do. Their God doesn't live in heaven. He lives in their bank account where salvation accrues interest. And I think that's the real tragedy. We built a world where morality scales with income. The rich are successful, the poor are lazy, and everyone else is too scared to question it. We turned ethics into economics and empathy into this weird PR. People think the poor deserve poverty the way they think the rich deserve wealth because it absolves them from caring. It's the world's most comforting lie. You get what you earn, but suffering isn't always a choice. Sometimes it's just where the ladder broke before you ever had a chance to climb it. That's the reality of it. It's so strange, isn't it? How the same world that blames the poor for being poor blames no one for why things cost so much. Inflation isn't natural. Greed is not divine. Billionaires are not proof of hard work. They are proofs of exploitation. The narrative has been reversed so many times that up feels like down, and survival feels as if you're committing a grave cardinal sin against people. We're told to envy those who hoard and despise those who struggle. How is that not insane? I hate it. I hate it so much. And everybody is struggling right now. Everyone is struggling right now. Nobody wants to admit we're all just barely keeping the lights on, whether it be emotionally, financially, spiritually. The world's gotten so heavy that even breathing feels as if it's deep, disgusting. 9 to 5 shifts at Amazon, just breathing. And still people treat asking for help as if some failure. Right now, I have a GoFundMe going on. GoFundMe's up there. If you put it on screen, boom, this is a GoFundMe. I put it in the top comment. And when I put the GoFundMe up, upon losing my job, I got so many hate messages saying, don't rely on other people, just get another job, do this. Because of the amount of people I've accrued online, this has now sadly become my career. This is what my career has to become because I can't have a normal job. I've tried to apply for places. It is very difficult when everybody keeps questioning you, asking you, and they're fans of you. And it's strange because I don't have that many people, but people know me. People know me so well. People know me. It's strange, isn't it? It's just strange to have this loss of privacy. So I'm asking for help. That's what I'm doing. Earlier today, I rejected a sponsor of $12,000. Oh my God. Even saying it now makes my chest hurt because I couldn't morally do it. And that was very important to me. It was very important. But people called me stupid for doing that. They said I'm an idiot. They said I'm dumb. Said I'm dumb for doing that. But it matters to me. Things matter to me. It's more important to do things that matter. To prove my worth to myself. And the only worth they see, this entire culture worships exhaustion as proof of worth. We're not machines. We break, we bruise, we burn out. And yet when someone finally says, I need help, the world rolls its eyes and calls them weak. When I post a GoFundMe or ask for my friends to check on me, it isn't weakness, it's vulnerability. It is, I'm still here, but I can't carry all of this alone. I'm not chasing pity, I'm chasing hope. When I need help for my nerve pain because I was in 2 car crashes in the past year, I'm asking because I'm in pain. When I'm asking for help with my mother because she is dealing with my little nonverbal brother, that is help. I'm looking for help. When I'm asking for help with my brother, my older brother, who desperately needs help taking care of my father who is going through physical therapy from prostate cancer, that is not me being weak or not trying hard enough. That is saying I have tried everything. I am now asking for help. That's what's happening. It's the belief that someone somewhere will look back and say, you don't have to do this by yourself. But too many people have forgotten how to respond to pain without turning it into judgment. Too many people hear, I need help. And then they translate that to, I'm lazy. I'm human. And humanity is supposed to mean something. We have to stop pretending that vulnerability is some rare disease to hide and shame. Vulnerability is the purest form of strength. Achilles' heel to me was not a weakness, it was a story of a man who knew his weakness and went into war with a weakness. As everyone does. We're weak, and that's okay. It's fine. We're vulnerable. That's not a bad thing at all. It's okay. It's a hand extended in a world that keeps pretending it doesn't have hands to spare. The courage it takes to say, I can't do this alone, is 10 times stronger than the fake stoicism people post about online, because real courage is never silent. It trembles, it reaches out, it risks being ignored, and it does it anyway. And this hatred of poor people, this disgust at the sight of someone asking for help, it's poison. It's affected everything from social media comments to dinner table conversations. We've become allergic to empathy. Everyone's struggling, but nobody wants to be the first to admit it. We'd rather mock someone for begging than face how close we are to begging ourselves. It's a defense mechanism. If I hate the struggling, maybe I'll never have to join them. I don't care if you think they can work. I don't care if you look at somebody on the street and see able-bodied potential. You don't know what that person is carrying. Maybe it's chronic pain. Maybe it's trauma. You know what's crazy? I didn't know how bad chronic pain could be until I've experienced it myself. Every time I stand up completely straight, and I mean completely straight, it feels as though you ever had a cavity or a tooth pain and you put aluminum foil in your mouth, you can feel that shot go all the way down, or eating something sweet and the shot go all the way down your body. Every time I stand up straight, shock all the way down to my legs. Every single time. Maybe they have depression so thick that it feels like tar in their lungs. Maybe they've been turned away so many times that hope itself feels as if it's humiliation. You don't get to decide when someone's allowed to need help. You don't. And to the ones who think kindness is a transaction, that you only help if it earns you something, I don't need a trophy for caring. I don't need applause for donating or validation for listening. Kindness is not a marketing campaign. It's not proof of virtue. It's supposed to be normal. Basic human decency shouldn't need an audience. I don't help people because it makes me look good. I help people because it hurts to see them hurt. That's it. That's it. That's the only reason. This obsession with self-reliance has turned us into these emotional landlords, charging people rent just to exist near our empathy. Oh, don't burden me with your problems. We say, their empathy doesn't have a quota. Compassion does not have an economy. It doesn't. You can't run out of it unless you stop using it. It's the only currency that functions in reverse, because the more of it you give away, the more of it you will get. We need to normalize needing each other again. We need to stop treating community like charity and start seeing it as literal survival, because nobody gets through this alone. No matter how strong they pretend to be, the richest person you know is still one bad month away from panic, one accident away from collapse. The difference is who's allowed to ask for help without being shamed. And right now, the circle is way too small. There is this big lie. I used to believe it myself because I've been through so much of it. Struggle builds character. But you know what it builds? Silence. People suffer quietly because the moment they speak up, someone calls them dramatic. People cry for help and get told to work harder. But struggle isn't a competition. There's no prize for surviving alone. The big truth is, we could all make this world a little softer by refusing to add more cruelty to it. That's it. So yes, I will keep asking for help when I need it, and I will try my best to help others. I will keep posting my GoFundMe. I will keep asking people for support. I will keep reaching out emotionally for the ones that support me emotionally, that have watched this, some of my fans that supported me emotionally. I appreciate you. I will keep being honest about the fact that sometimes I can't handle it, because the world doesn't need more pride. I'm not gonna have that. That's ridiculous. It needs softness. It needs more people willing to say, hey, me too, when someone breaks down. It needs more people who understand that being vulnerable isn't contagious, it's healing. And if you can't understand that, then I hope one day you'll need help too. I hope one day you will need help too. Because it's the only way some people learn empathy, when they need help. I hope you'll learn what it's like to tremble before asking for something simple and realize how brave it is, how human it is, how beautiful it is to need. Because I am kind. I don't need to prove it. I don't need to brand it. My kindness doesn't require your permission. It exists quietly, stubbornly, like a small light in a room that's forgotten how to glow. And I'll keep letting it shine even when it feels useless, because someone out there is someone who needs it. And I'd rather be tired from caring than empty from pretending not to be.
I'm your Nick and night, be my Laurel, use low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.